Hey guys, Richard here with eBike Reviews and Adventures. So I went riding yesterday. Yeah, a couple of friends, son-in-law Devin. I almost had a significant crash, and I want to tell you all about it. So let it be a warning and hopefully a preventative measure for some of you folks. So stick around. Here we go. Okay, so I was riding the EUI bike. This is the K6F. And first of all, excuse Toby down here. He has kind of taken up a residence right there. Um, so I was riding this bike right here, and it's not a necessarily a problem or an issue with this particular bike. It's just this particular class of bike that caused the problem. Here's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're talking about a folding bike. If you have a folding bike, listen up. If you don't have a folding bike, listen up because hey, it could be entertaining. One of the things that are different about folding bikes and other style of bikes, okay, is that you have this little piece right down here. Yeah, this little guy right here. Some people say, I have no idea what that's for. You know, what's its purpose? The purpose is when you have a folding bike is that when you fold up the bike and the front tire over here is moved around and it's on the back, next to the back tire, the bike is going to lean forward and this gives the bike a place to rest on the ground. So it hits the ground here, so it's not hitting the ground here and damaging your chain ring or your chain or even a pedal. So that's the whole point of this. The point of this is just to be a little stand. Well, when you combine a folding bike into a bike that is kind of designed for maybe some off-road use like this one because it's a dual suspension, or like another bike I recently had, the Hanovere H100. It has two motors on it, so it's really good for off-road use, a lot of fun, powerful. But the problem with these style bikes, again, you got that little piece that sticks down. And that's where it can be a problem. Because when you're out running off-road and you're out there doing your thing, you're going to get into some places that could be a little sketchy, a little hairy. You're going to be hitting some bumps. You may be going over some tree roots, that sort of thing. And that little piece that hangs down right there, that little bracket, is going to get you in trouble like it did me yesterday. So son-in-law Devin and I broke loose from the rest of the group, and we were going down a single track trail. It's just a single track trail is a trail that's real narrow, and it's not a place where you can ride side by side. I mean, it's just big enough for the bike to go through. So if you're not familiar, that's what it is. And so we were going through the woods, and it was one of those trails that was just really windy, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we got to an area where we had some roller coaster hills. So we had some mounds of dirt that were probably, I don't know, 3 foot high, 4 foot high or something. And there were several of them right in a row where we got a chance to do this. Now, we weren't jumping these, but we were going fast enough to where we could just enjoy going up and down kind of quick. And so we did about, I don't know, I think maybe 4 of those hills. And I got up to the 5th one, and right at the top of the 5th one, as I started to go up, I couldn't see real well on the other side. It looked like the hill kind of went up, and then it was cut off on the back side, and I wasn't sure what was there, how much of a drop it was. So I hit my brakes and stopped. And so when I stopped right at the pivot point, almost at the top of the hill. And Devin stopped behind me, and I looked, and I saw what it looked like on the other side. It was fine. It was nothing too gnarly or anything like that. But I stopped, and I turned around, and I looked at Devin, and I was talking to Devin for a few minutes, and I was explaining why I made a quick stop and what was happening. And so after just taking a quick little break or so, I went ahead and hit the throttle to try to get myself over the apex of that little hill. Guys, I only rolled maybe 3 inches. I rolled about 3 inches and thunk, came to an immediate stop. It was a hard stop because that little bracket down there on the bottom of the bike hit a tree root. Because right at the top of this mound that we were on, there was a pretty thick tree root that was going across. And I saw it, but I hadn't thought anything about it. I was just going to hit that tree root as I go up over that mound. It wasn't a big deal. We had already ridden over several tree roots, and it wasn't a problem. But because I was going over the hill and the front tire started to go down on the other side of this mound, it lowered the center of the bike a little bit, and that caused, lights are going off in here, that caused the that little bracket down there to catch that tree root. So if I hadn't stopped, I would have hit that tree root and caught it on that bracket. I don't know if it would have busted the bracket off, if it would just bend it, but for one thing for sure, Richard probably would have gone over the handlebars because we're moving at a pretty good pace. And when you come to a dead stop like that, you know, body in motion stays in motion. Remember that? So on the other side of the mound, there was one more little hill that kind of dipped down and then up on the other side. So I would have gone probably crashing headfirst into that next mound. So Devin and I both immediately, as soon as the bike came to a hard stop and we saw what happened, we both immediately knew just how lucky I had been. That you know, some people are going to call it luck and say, "Oh man, you were so lucky." We call it bless. I feel that I was being watched over that day because it would have been bad. I mean, sure, I had a helmet on. I didn't have elbow pads, knee pads. I didn't have anything else, but you know, my body weight going over the handlebars and then maybe possibly, you know, kind of head first into the next mound that was right there, it could have been really bad. It could have been pretty serious. And we were about 6 miles deep into the woods, so it would have been a struggle getting out. So anyway, the point of this little video is just to, you know, draw attention to the fact that, you know, even though folding e-bikes are great, a lot of people find that they never fold them because they're not as convenient as they think they are when they go out and buy them initially. You know, they're still heavy, they're bulky to move around. They're not as long, but they're a little fatter when you fold them. And a lot of people just realize, you know, it's just not worth the hassle, and they don't want to ride those type of e-bikes. If you're out on the street and that's all the only place that you ride, then probably not a big deal, right? Unless you have to go off road. Maybe you have to go off the sidewalk or go off the edge of the road to get out of the way or to avoid something. Maybe you need to go over a curb or something. Be aware of that bracket that hangs down because it's going to get snagged. And, you know, I have snagged that bracket before going off of a curb, or actually going up onto the curb from the street, going up onto the sidewalk. And I had to, you know, just go over the curb. There wasn't a ramp. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. So, I mean, I've hit things before with it. And out at LFI, there was a place that had been riding out there, and I had snagged roots just a little bit, small roots, and it wasn't a big deal, but it was an attention getter. But yesterday was pretty significant. So be careful, okay? Just be careful when you're out there riding, and if you have a folding e-bike, be aware of it. And yeah, they shouldn't make folding e-bikes that are designed for off-road use, okay? That's kind of like a party foul right there. You can't really combine the two. Shouldn't combine the two. And some people argue that the frame is weaker too. And I've talked to engineers and other folks, and they disagree that the frame is actually weaker. I mean, if it's designed right, it's all about the hinge that holds the mechanism together. The frame shouldn't be weaker at all. But who knows? I am aware also that some people have said that they had a folding e-bike that broke in half. So that's an argument for another video. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. So if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe, because you know what? A lot of people watch these videos, but they never subscribe, and they don't come back, and they're not entertained by some of the foolishness that we do on this channel. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Give me a thumbs up. I will see you in the video real soon. Take care.